You don't remember when it started. There wasn't a fight, no dramatic falling out, no moment where someone said this is over. You just looked up one day and realized the group chat had gone quiet. The plans stopped forming. The inside jokes no longer landed because half the people who would have understood them aren't around anymore. And somehow, without anyone deciding it, the friend group that once felt permanent just faded into something you used to have. She scrolls through old photos and barely recognizes the person she was. Not because she looks different, but because that version of her existed in a context that doesn't anymore. There was a time when Friday nights meant the same faces, the same places, the same ease of just showing up and belonging. But now Friday nights are quieter. The group chat that used to explode with plans sits mostly dormant. Someone sends a meme occasionally. Someone else reacts with a laugh emoji. But the energy that used to hold everyone together has dissipated into something polite and distant. He still follows them all on social media. He sees their updates. The new jobs, the relationships, the moves to different cities. He likes the posts, sometimes comments something supportive. But he hasn't actually talked to most of them in months. Maybe longer. The connections that once felt deep and essential now feel more like pleasant acquaintances from another life. And the strange part is, he's not angry about it. Nobody did anything wrong. They all just became people with separate lives that no longer naturally intersect. This is the loss nobody prepares you for. When you're younger, friendships feel eternal. The people you spend every weekend with, the ones who know your worst moments and still show up, the group that feels like a second family. You can't imagine a version of your life where they're not central to it. But then life starts moving. Someone gets a job in another city. Someone gets serious with a partner who doesn't quite fit into the group dynamic. Someone has a kid and suddenly their availability changes entirely. And piece by piece, the structure that held everyone together starts to crack. At first, everyone tries. They schedule reunions. They plan trips. They make promises to stay close no matter what. And they mean it. But maintaining a friend group requires more than intention. It requires alignment. Shared rhythms. Overlapping availability. And as people move into different phases of life, those overlaps shrink. The single friends want to go out. The married friends want to stay in. The ones with kids can barely commit to plans because babysitters are expensive and sleep is precious. The ones climbing career ladders are working weekends. And slowly, the group that once moved as one unit fractures into smaller pieces, and then into individuals. She used to text them about everything. The good days, the bad days, the nothing days where she just wanted to share something funny. But at some point, she stopped. Not consciously. It just started feeling like more effort than it was worth. She'd type something out, then delete it. What's the point? They're all busy. They have their own things going on. She didn't want to be the one always reaching out, always initiating, always trying to keep something alive that maybe wasn't meant to survive this phase of life. And that's the painful part. The realization that some friendships have expiration dates. Not because anyone failed, but because the circumstances that created them changed. You were friends because you were in the same place at the same time, facing similar challenges, wanting similar things. But now you're in different places, facing different challenges, wanting different things. And the friendship that once felt effortless now requires constant effort just to maintain a surface-level connection. He thinks about reaching out. Suggesting they all get together like old times. But then he hesitates. What would they even talk about? Their lives have diverged so much that the common ground has shrunk to almost nothing. They'd probably spend the first hour reminiscing about the past, and then what? Sit in awkward silence realizing how little they have to say to each other now. It feels easier to just let it be what it is. A fond memory. A chapter that closed. The guilt sits heavy sometimes. Like he should be doing more.
Like a good friend would fight harder to keep the group intact. But he's tired. And he knows they're tired too. Everyone's juggling their own responsibilities, their own relationships, their own struggles. Nobody has the bandwidth to also carry the weight of maintaining a friend group that's outgrown its natural lifespan. And maybe that's the lesson nobody wants to accept. That not all friendships are meant to last forever. That you can love people deeply, share incredibly important years with them, and still grow into someone who doesn't fit into their life anymore. It doesn't diminish what you had. It doesn't mean it wasn't real. It just means it served its purpose for that season, and now that season is over. She sees one of them occasionally. Not planned. Just random encounters at the grocery store or a coffee shop. They hug, they catch up briefly, they promise to get together soon. But they both know they won't. And there's a sadness in that, but also an acceptance. They were important to each other once. They helped each other through difficult times. But they're different people now, living different lives, and forcing a friendship that no longer naturally fits doesn't honor what they had. It just creates obligation where there used to be joy. He goes to a wedding and sees most of the old group there. They fall back into the old rhythms easily. The jokes, the banter, the comfort of people who knew you before you became whoever you are now. And for a few hours, it feels like nothing changed. But then the night ends, everyone goes home, and the group chat stays quiet for another 6 months. Because the reality is, they've all moved on. Not maliciously. Not intentionally. Just naturally. The way people do when their lives take them in different directions. The hardest part isn't the absence of the friendships. It's the absence of what those friendships represented. A time when life felt simpler. When your people were your people and that was enough. When weekends were open and spontaneous and you didn't need 3 weeks advance notice to coordinate schedules. When inside jokes were fresh and plans happened organically and you didn't have to perform the mental calculation of whether the effort to maintain the connection was worth the diminishing returns. She wonders if she should have tried harder. If there was a moment where she could have saved it. But looking back, she realizes there wasn't. There was no single breaking point to repair. It was a slow fade. A gradual drifting that happened over months and years, made up of 1,000 small moments where someone was too busy, someone didn't respond, someone chose something else. And eventually, those moments accumulated into distance nobody intended but everyone accepted. He learns to be okay with it. To appreciate what those friendships were without needing them to be something they're no longer capable of being. To understand that people can be important to you for a season without being permanent fixtures. To stop measuring the value of a friendship by its length and start measuring it by what it gave you when you needed it. Because the truth is, the friend group that slowly disappeared didn't fail. It succeeded. It gave everyone exactly what they needed during a specific period of their lives. It provided belonging when belonging mattered. It created memories that still bring warmth even when the people in them have become distant. It helped shape who everyone became, even if who they became meant growing apart. She makes new friends now. Different kinds of friends. Ones who fit into her current life. Who share her current priorities. Who understand the version of her that exists now, not the one that existed then. And it's good. Different, but good. And she realizes that maybe that's how it's supposed to work. Friendships for different seasons. People who walk with you for certain chapters but not the whole story. He stops feeling guilty about the group chat sitting quiet. Stops forcing catch-ups out of obligation. Stops pretending that the friendship needs to look the same way it did 5 years ago to still be meaningful. He can appreciate what it was without needing to resurrect it. He can hold space for those people in his memory without holding space for them in his present. The friend group that slowly disappeared taught everyone something important. That love and loss can coexist. That you can outgrow relationships without anyone being at fault. That life changes people, and sometimes those changes mean paths that once ran parallel start to diverge. And that's not tragedy. That's just life. You don't remember when it ended. But you remember what it meant. And maybe that's enough.